Aging and approaching midlife can be a bit scary and intimidating for a lot of people, especially women. We often hear the term midlife crisis, but you know what? It is time for women to put their fears aside and rediscover the confidence they may have pushed away. And here with her inspirational tips for fearlessly facing midlife is Amy Schmidt. Welcome, Amy.
Hi, Aubrey. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Tell us why turning 50 should be a wake-up call for many women.
Oh, 50, it's a big number when you think about it. I just turned 50. And, I think as women, it's just that time in life when roles are shifting and things are changing. And of course, me being a Gen Xer, it's the sandwich generation. Maybe you're taking care of your parents and your kids. And all of a sudden you're sitting back and saying, wow, where did Amy go? You're a wife, a mother, a daughter, a sister. And it's like, wow, now I might have some more time for me. And that's really why I think it's a wake-up call.
What are the midlife obstacles women are facing?
Oh, what a great question. I think there's obstacles that women face really at any age, but especially at midlife. You're worried, you get fearful. You just get stopped in your tracks more often. You think back to those things that you used to do, and maybe you can't quite do them the same, but you just have to use this time to recalibrate and say, you know what, maybe I won't be skiing the black diamonds, but maybe I can recalibrate and do something a little different, So I think fear is a big part of what women face at midlife. I really do. I use this analogy of a cannonball. It's what I named my book. And, I think about when you're a child and you just have this energy and this fearlessness and you go to the pool and you jump in and you just want to do it again and again. You don't care who's watching. You just want to make that splash. And then for some reason, as we go on with life, especially as women, we get to that third rung of the ladder at the pool or getting up to that high dive and we just get stopped. We're worried that it's not going to be perfect or, are people going to be watching? So those fear things really set in.
Well, when you talk about those fears that women are seeing, maybe their mid-40s and their 50s, how do they overcome that? How do they get outside of their comfort zone?
Yes, exactly. And that's really it, Aubrey. It's getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's sometimes hard. I think there's power in these 6 words: get up, get dressed, and get going. And I think no matter what your situation is, no matter where you're navigating right now, what your story, your circumstances with the pandemic, there's uncertainty. If you can get yourself up, you can get dressed and get going. It's all about that forward momentum. It's accomplishing something during the day that's like, wow, I can do this. I can continue to live forward. It doesn't have to stop you in your tracks.
Yeah, you talk about putting yourself first. You talk about also
Right.
people judging, including we judge ourselves, we judge others. How do we silence
Yeah.
some of that inner doubt and really, I guess, build that confidence?
Isn't that so true? I just think we are our worst critics. We really are. We look in the mirror. I wrote about it in the book. There was a survey done several years ago, and it was women between the ages of 40 and 50. And they looked in the mirror, and they immediately felt bad. Like they were thinking they would get this reflection of a 25-year-old, but yet they're 50 or they're 55 or they're 45. So I think what we need to do, and what I really encourage women to do, is just sit back and savor all that they've accomplished. That's going to give you the confidence to propel you forward. I call it your highlight reel. You just sit back, you close your eyes, and you say, wow, I did that 20 years ago. I did that 10 years ago. And then you use those experiences to propel you forward. That gets you the confidence to step outside and do something challenging. It is a time. I'm so around changing this narrative at midlife from crisis to opportunity. So when you Google, midlife, I don't want it to come down as crisis. I want it to be opportunity, because that's really what we have.
We've got to spin that perspective, build ourselves up, give ourselves a little credit. You talk all
Totally.
about this in a book that you wrote. Quickly tell us about your book.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's called Cannonball, Fearlessly Facing Midlife and Beyond. And I talk about that cannonball because I want women to go to the top of that diving board and run to the end, wrap their arms around their legs, being uncomfortable, starting ugly, making this huge splash, and being confident with what they've done. So the book is really my story, stories of me and other people that have inspired me along my journey. And then at the end of each chapter, there's reflections for you to sit back and apply to your own life. And so
Very
you can
nice.
say, hey, I can, love myself where I am. I'm just enough as I am.
I think that's great advice at any age. Thanks so much for joining us, Amy. Have a great weekend. And for more insight from Amy Schmidt, visit fearlesslyfacing50.com.